Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today we have a replay sent in by Schmitty. He is going to be playing the Panzerlehr on the Colombelles map in this one. He's supported by the 352nd, 116th Panzer and the 17th SS Panzer Grenadiers. He's going to be playing against the 101st Airborne, 1st Panzerner, the Guards Armoured and the 3rd Armoured there on the opposing side. So the reason we're following it from Schmitty's perspective today is because he sent it in to me, and this is going to be recorded live on my stream. So the idea is just to follow his moves, see what he does. Apparently the game's quite good and he does quite well. I can tell you that just because obviously in general people who send in replays have won their replays. So there is a bit of a spoiler there. But that's not what this replay is about. It's just about watching some decent Steel Division gameplay, and as we continue, we will talk through it as we go. Alright, so here we have 3 Pumas set out by Schmitty at the start. Looks like it's going to be quite an aggressive Puma push, supported by these 251-21s on the right side. Going into the factory, we do have the 352nd Division. That might be quite difficult for Schmitty's left flank. Now we are playing on the 3v3 version, so in general the players don't have to spread out as much, which is allowing Schmitty to be very concentrated on the far right side. But still, this 352nd player might have a hard time if he bumps into maybe the 101st. Airborne rifles plus maybe M1 howitzer support would be terrible for the 352nd to deal with. The reason for that would be because IG-18s and PaK-38s both are really sort of hard to, or really easy to kill by long-range artillery, so M1 howitzers will do the job. Now in the centre there's a big old gap here, I hope that gets filled, but the Danish Viking here with the 116th Panzer is going to be pushing up on the left side, and on the far left we have Yoda pushing into the town with the 17th SS. So I think it's going to be up to like Danish Viking and Thomasu here to spread out a little bit more and cover the centre of the map. Let's just speed it up a little, see what more units come down, get the game underway. 2 recon squads coming up here, a couple of Speertroop. They're actually quite necessary for this push, because even though Pumas have their own recon, it's actually only good recon, it's not very good recon, and that's what the Speertroop provide. And those Speertroop, they will spot the AT guns, which will stop these Pumas from dying so much, but that's a very concentrated effort on the far right from Schmitty. We'll have to wait and see how this goes. We do have an AT gun supporting as well here, Thomasu moving that up. And then we do see a BMW R75 actually. That's having a lovely ride. Oh, straight through the gate. There's the great escape and a half right there. Zooming around. Love it. It's doing a little rally over the dirt there, but here we can see on the right side, Pumas are coming into range of what looks like a convoy here. A bunch of tanks and so on. Crusader AA Mark IIs, there's a Cromwell, there's actually 2 Cromwells. Crusader AA Mark II has been bailed out. Those Cromwells are not firing back yet, they have not been given an attack order. And my god, the red one messed that up. 2 Cromwells gone down at the start. Crusader AA's bailed out. Those Pumas have done work. That's 3 2-star Pumas absolutely crushing that right side. Speertroop able to just fast move up into the right side hangar, and what an absolutely fantastic start for Schmitty. In the centre, this is definitely going to be a problem. If the opponents start to push through here, the 3rd Armoured, they're going to take a lot of ground. If they notice this salient being pushed in, there's going to be a lot of problem in terms of the conquest points coming throughout the rest of this game. 52% in favour of the Axis already. Vickers HMG is going to be going down here, and since all of that was killed on the game, I would really like, or on the road, sorry, not in the game, I would expect to see these Pumas or even these half-tracks actually just fast move up this road on the right side. Because if we go to the neutral perspective, there is nothing here. Like, that was pretty obvious. There's just going to be nothing here. So this should be fast moving up on the right side of the map. But either way, it looks like the 352nd player, Tomasu, has actually controlled the factory in its entirety from the start. And now he's in that position, it's actually going to be very hard for anyone to push back towards him. So we've got the IG-18 and the MG-42s there. If you pack this factory with MG-42s, it's going to be very hard to attack, even with artillery support. Because if you have them spread out enough, you're going to have a lot of artillery to hit all of the MGs at once in order to stop your infantry from being mown down. But currently it looks like Red One's dealing with a 2 versus 1 scenario on that far right side. Then we have the 1st Panzerner sort of attacking through the middle, and they're taking their sweet time to push forwards, that's for sure. But the 3rd Armoured's definitely seen the salient popping out, and Fabio's taking full advantage of that. He even has some infantry still in that half-track that's pushing all the way through. The 101st player is actually up against Yoda on this side, but Yoda's fantastic use of the 81mm mortars here and the 257 is doing a number on the airborne rifles, keeping them all pinned down and allowing his Panzergrenadiers to push up very aggressively. So the map's currently 50-50, mainly due to this salient here. Armoured rifles are going to be dropping out and engaging those units. Meanwhile, Schmitty on the right side looks like it's still a similar scenario. Going to continue to push up. Actually has, I believe that's 4 Pumas now. Actually no, it's only 3 still. But the Stuart comes around the corner, makes a wrong turn, and he's going to definitely pay for that. I believe he bounced a shot. Has tucked himself away just enough for those Pumas to forget about him and continue moving forwards. Plenty of half-tracks on the way. These should be fast moving to these buildings, should be able to take those quite nicely. Meanwhile, these armoured rifles definitely being a pain in the ass down in the mid here, causing that huge salient. This Jeep could definitely drive down through this gap. Pack 40 is going to be engaging their armoured rifles. The speed troop could be used there to make them surrender. But now Ju-87 coming in, Thomas is going to be using that to probably try and bomb out this Cromwell I'm looking at. Yeah, it's going to be bombing out the tanks. Going to force them to fall back. Which does sort of relieve a bit of the pressure here. But in general, that's quite an overwhelming force if he's not too careful. Pack 40 is in a nice position to maybe kill off the tanks. This half-track, though, is going absolutely ham. One of those units has just surrendered. Osttruppen, if they open fire, they might end up surrendering as well. So got to be very, very careful here, because this could end up in a huge gap in the front line. Right, meanwhile, on the right side, 251-21 going to be taking on the carrier there. Gets bombed out by the Spitfire. 6-pounder and Stuart on target, so Schmitty's got to be a bit careful about that. On this left side, Yoda, fantastic mortar support, has absolutely demolished the 101st player. And this is a fantastic demonstration, actually, of how to deal with the 101st. Because if you're playing a division like the 352nd or the 716th, your infantry is just completely outclassed. However, if you bring in mortars, what you can do is you never have to fight the infantry you're up against, because they're stunned all the time. You keep them mortared the entire time, and it really does the job. So Ju-87 coming in again with more bombs. The Crusader AA not really doing the job there, and is going to get stunned and forced to fall back, but the Hurricane is going to be able to get onto the tail of the Ju-87 quite nicely there. Might be able to just about get away, although the Hurricane's got a really nice turning circle. The second one's coming in as well. No chance. Get out of there. Okay, Pack 40, that's going to be harassed by the looks of things by the Hurricane, which kind of removes some of its accuracy, but they've taken out the command infantry there, which was a very good idea. Strelzy now engaging the Osttruppen at close range. Osttruppen, got to be careful, because if they get surrendered, again, it's a massive salient being forced through. And these Dragoni actually in a really good position here. Hurricane's coming down for the stun still, and now the Cromwell 6 is engaging as well with its 13 HE power cannon. Got to see that actually 5 position, although it looks like the Hurricane finished the job and the Pack 40 is dead. This is really bad news for the Axis side. So on this side, it looks like Schmitty's lost one of his Pumas. It's pushed quite far up, but the 6-pounder Stuart combo has held him back for now. 251-21's now being forced to fall back as well. But not too much resistance still. Should probably see these Panzer Grenadiers push through and start to pin down the 6-pounder. And then what you can do is sort of fast move the Pumas round and shoot the Stuart in the side armor while it's trying to deal with the Panzergrens. That would be a nice way to do it. You could also, of course, bring up an AT gun and just push it through the tree line, but that's vulnerable to being stunned. And there is 2 AT guns on the way, so that might work out. But the Cromwell 6 over here, Yoda's struggling now, that's for sure. And Tomasu can't really do much to stop this collapsing at the moment. On the left side, Yoda's being pushed in by some airborne rifles and the 50 cal there. But his mortar support's just been incredible. IG-18 is going to be going down to the M22. These little armoured vehicles, like Stuart's and any tank really, is going to be good enough to take out an IG, so that was inevitable, really. Looks like the Puma snuck round there. They tried to double team the Stuart, but got one of his Pumas killed. So, like I was saying, probably should have pushed the Panzergrens through first. Then you can start hammering the 6-pounder, which removes it as a threat to the Pumas, and then you can double team the Stuart while it's distracted by the Panzer Grenadiers. But there goes that recon, and there is a Mark 9 Spitfire coming in. That's going to try and bomb out the Puma, force it to fall back for now at least. AT guns are arriving. That should sort of solidify Schmitty's position, but this is still a 2v1 on the right side. In the mid, First Panzerna player is doing his best, but currently there are 2 salients for the Axis and 1 for the Allies. So still a 55% territory lead for the Axis side. Now on the left, the attack's going to continue. It looks like Yoda's running pretty low on infantry here, and his Panzergrens don't have Panzerfausts. But this Pack 38 should be able to kill the Locust at close range, and with that, that should relieve quite a lot of pressure actually, and his mortars can continue to hammer all of the machine guns that are running towards him. So Yoda's going to be safe on that left flank, I feel. This push though, it's very risky, and all of these units are at risk of being cut off as well. They've actually bumped into a bunch of tanks now, the 2 M5A1s and the M4A1s as well. Going to be able to crush that infantry in the open. These half-tracks, they're charging down behind the 101st player. Looks like Thunderbolt's going to be brought in. Sort of emergency Thunderbolt to try and take out some of these half-tracks. Never mind, going to be going straight over and taking out the IG-18s instead. That's 2 IG-18 kills for the Thunderbolts. That's actually quite nice. It sort of relieves the pressure on any new infantry that come in. But these half-tracks, they should not be dying to these Pathfinders like that. The first one goes down, then you can just use the second 2 to like actually attack those units. But instead, those half-tracks die. They lose the extra land there, and that's going to take an extra % off the ticker. Actually 2% off the ticker, 3%. That was a big deal. This sort of half-track push going on up here was actually a big deal in terms of conquest points. So what's happening on this right side? We have Schmitty just concentrating his forces. Since losing those Pumas, I think it's just very hard to push forwards now securely. And from his position, this doesn't look very good. However, there should be some recon to sort of poke through at least this hedgerow and tree line so that you can see if there's anything on this side. And then you want a recon to push through here to see if there's anything here. But you already know there's an AT gun there, so the only other things you can do is maybe bring up a mortar and like mortar this, or like I said before, push through the Panzer Grenadiers and then make the push with the Pumas.
Don't shoot!
Right, in the centre, it looks like the Cromwell went down to the Stug 3. Yoda's brought in this 2-star Stug 3, and it's definitely doing a number. The FK-18s are going to be enough to pin down the 6-pounders as well, which is then going to allow the Zopo Blitz with more infantry to come up and support. The flak 38 20mm on the back of the truck there. That's going to actually hammer the Strelzy. Interesting to see this unit actually be used. Don't see them very often at all. Right, that Panzer Grenadier, he got a long way, but I feel like he's going to end up surrendering. Yep, he's gone. The more reinforcements coming in on the right side now. And unfortunately, it looks like Schmitty's kind of let this happen. There's going to be a bunch of motorised rifles trying to push through against Panzer Grenadiers. Honestly, the Panzer Grenadiers will hold, especially with 2 of these half-tracks supporting. But still. Right, look how quickly these motorised rifles get absolutely savaged. It's like 2, 1, gone. That's an 8-man squad killed in like a matter of seconds. And these 251-21s as well. Not going to leave any survivors. Crazy. Not the best formed push here by Red One. If he wants to do that, then at least he needs to bring around the Stuart 5 as well to hit these units. Spitfire Mark 9. Going to be bringing in the bombs onto the Panzergrens just to try and help out. But there's plenty of Gepards here. Seeing the Panzerwerfer take out the 6-pounder. I would have liked to have seen that strike a little bit more to the left so you could pin down the Stuart. And then with all of this pinned down, you rush forwards the 251-21 with the Pumas and just kill everything that's beyond this tree line. Again, it's probably based on recon that Schmitty isn't prepared to make like more of a push here to gain some more conquest ground for his team. But either way, Stug 3, oh, is it going to get hit by the Pier? Not quite. Dragoni try and get into range, but the Stug 3 is going to be forced back by the Hurricanes. Well, that was close. Pier nearly did the job there. But now we have some more reinforcing infantry coming up, and with the infantry there revealing enemy infantry, a 2-star Stug's definitely going to be doing a good job. We now see the Ju-87 come up as well. It actually went for the kill onto the Jeep, which is a very interesting choice. Hurricanes might end up shooting that down now. Both is forcing it to fall back. Marder is going to be lost on that right side. But now it looks like the Ju-87 might get out of there. Yep, just about. I think the Hurricanes have been pulled off. My lord, that was revacking for a long time. It's going to go down because of that. Okay. So Schmitty finishing off a half-track there. Very static gameplay though. On this left side, Thunderbolt's actually picking up quite a lot of kills for themselves as they come in and land quite nice strikes every single time. Take out the half-track there. IG-18 goes down as well. There's only 1 squad of infantry left in the town for Yoda, but he still has control of it. And there is some reinforcements coming up. Now if we go to the Yoda's perspective, I think he's basically playing on the far left and he's playing here. So it makes sense that he's struggling a little bit. This Stug, however, that should be more than enough to deal with the Sherman 5. There is a Marder, that's going to be coming around the corner. Can that get the kill? Is he not in line of sight? He's not in line of sight. No way. That's crazy. Does manage to turn around the corner and get the kill. That is nuts. Stug 3 going to be killing off the Crusader. And we see the Puma coming around the corner to kill off Cromwell. Now, normally those Cromwells I would say are a good choice, like Cromwell 6s. They're normally quite good. But, in this case, throwing them against Pumas, not going to work out very well. And it seems at the moment Red One's just sort of throwing units at Schmitty. But Schmitty could have probably already taken this land spawn on the right side here. I feel like he could have played a lot more aggressive. Use the speed troop up here, see what's on the other side of this tree line, bring up some units, push all the way through your Panzerlehr. You have tanks, you can make that push happen. Especially if it's just like a Stuart here. The rest of these are just half tracks. That's a lot of Gepards though. And they're going to be hammering those planes. The Spitfire's actually going to go down because of that AA. But considering how badly the teammates are being pushed in over here, Schmitty would need to push up very hard on the right side. The Stug's still alive. Marder went down. Cromwell probably took that out. Across the board, we've got a big attack coming in onto the town, onto Yoda. There's one Stothtroop and 2 Panzer Grenadiers standing in the way of 3 squads of airborne rifles, Pathfinder squad, M8 Scott, M4 Double D, and the M1 gun. That looks pretty hopeless for Yoda on this left side. He does have some reinforcements on the way, and it looks like this is an IG, but it might not be there in time to stop all of these units get into that town. So what was a nice town take looks like it's going to be swinging back in the opposite direction. Wow. Another plane going to be going down there. That's a lot of points invested in these Gepards. They are 60 points each. That's 120 points, 240 points, 360 points invested in Gepards. If they don't shoot down aircraft, I don't know what will. However, there is a Firefly on the board, and Schmitty's Puma's going to get out of there. It's got to be a bit careful. Ooh, Firefly's actually coming pretty close range to this Pack 38. If it gets within 600 meter range, that Pack 38 has actually a pretty decent chance of penetrating. And even if it doesn't, it's very close to actually forcing it to fall back, and once it does, that might show its side armor. Get enough shots on target anyway, and you're going to get a penetration eventually. He's currently got about 12 AP versus that Firefly, which gives him about 17% chance of penetration. Not going to get it this time round. Pack 40 on the way, and that Pack 40 definitely needs to be on the left side here. We also need to see some recon move up here. Thomas, you tried to move up his PMW, but you need some ground recon really to make that happen. On this side, Thunderbolt picking up another kill, taking out the IG-33. Black 36 is not going to be enough to stop that happening. Befell Panzer IV though, going to take out the M8 Scott. Might be good enough to take out the M4 and the M8, and if he does, that might relieve a little bit of pressure. But there is a lot of airborne rifles, and they haven't even been touched as they've come into this town, so it looks like Yoda might lose that on the left flank. On this right side, second Firefly going to be coming in for Red One. He's really trying to solidify, but it's really hard to push against these Pack 38s. He needs to get basically some recon on this right side that he can have, basically show him the positions of these Pack 38s that he should be able to see. Yeah, if you had a recon just here, you would see this Pack 38, you'd see this Pack 38, and you know that this one's here because it was shooting at your Firefly. So Red One, what he needs to do is bring in a mortar and just take out those AT guns, and after he's done that, he can just run over the rest of the armoured vehicles, especially with 2 Fireflies. Got to be obviously careful of getting into range of Panzer Grenadiers with their Panzerfaust, but that would be the way to get around it. Pack 40 would also need to die there. Black 36 going to be hitting the airborne rifles now. Mortar carrier is going to be going down there though. ME109 G2 BR21. Not going to be able to take out the M4A3 with those rockets ever, but makes it fall back, I guess. Going to see one of the Shermans go down here as it gets a little bit too far up and bumps into 3 Panther Gs rolling up the road. This is what you call a Panther back, ladies and gentlemen. M4A1 is not going to be enjoying the pain of that as he gets blown up. The Pack 40 here like I said before, this should definitely be on the left side. Because if you have it on the left side, like say here, you're not being shot at by these units behind the tree line, but you have line of sight all the way down that road for 1,200 meters of range. Like, it's okay here, but that's only if they come past this tree line. This Panther, however, that's now in the perfect position and is going to be able to slam any reinforcements. Pack 38 finishing the job there. Okay, so the left side has been completely taken here. Looks like it was just Yoda helping out in the mid here has actually cost him the left side completely. So Yoda barely has anything left, and he's lost all of his mortars as well. Rider 3, however, is going to be trying to kill off the M10s, but it's going to be bombed out by the Thunderbolt. The Thunderbolt actually gets a nice double strike there. Fantastic job by Delphius here. His 101st gameplay with these Thunderbolts has just been fantastic. Like, taking so many rocket kills, that bombing strike plus shooting down the Ju-87, really, really nice double strike. So meanwhile here we're seeing the Panzergrenz come through. Panzergrenz are going to pick up a kill onto one of the Fireflies, which actually is a really, really big deal. That's a Panzergrenz squad paying itself off multiple times over. The only issue is that you're going to run out of infantry pretty quick if you don't support them as they push through. If you had, like, say, those 2 units there originally, or maybe even a 3rd unit there, and you push them all through the tree line at the same time, you have your Befehl Panther roll up the left side, you roll up your Pack 38s or whatever, you can break through there, no problemo. But at the moment, you're just playing very defensive on the right side. That's what Schmitty's doing. Now these Panther Gs, they're trying to push back. There is a Jumbo going to be standing in their way, but Panthers should be more than enough to deal with a Jumbo. We have, wow, enemy aircraft coming in on this right side. Typhoon's going to get absolutely hammered there by the amount of Gepards. Not going to get shot down. I thought the last shot might do the job, but the airstrike's still coming through, forcing a lot of this stuff to fall back. I want to see artillery. I don't know why I'm not seeing it. Red one with his guards armoured wants to be bringing in sextons or priests or whatever he has in order to just destroy the Pack 38s and try and push forwards. That engagement between the Befehl Panther and the Firefly is a decent one, but he should have had this Firefly double teaming the Befehl Panther. Because like I always say, like with the Guards Armoured or any division that relies on Fireflies, you always want to be 2v1ing. And the Cromwell goes down there, that gets popped in the face by a Pack 38. Firefly looks like that's had enough and is just going to try and suicide around the corner as well. At that range, Pack 38 actually has some penetration. Going to be hit by the Flak 88 on the right side as well. But yeah, eventually Firefly goes down, and again, nothing left here. Just being very overly cautious, especially considering how concentrated this push is. And without taking this extra ground, pushing so concentrated on one side of the map kind of becomes a bit of a liability, because you leave the rest of the map so open to attack. Now here, we're seeing the Jumbos get very close to these Panther Gs, and this might work if both of the Jumbos come round the edge of the tree line at the same time and engage with the Panthers, but I have a feeling it's not going to. On the left, the 101st player has completely occupied the town. Has even come further than that. Thunderbolt's going to probably slam that Pack 43, but thanks to the Flak Bling and the new AA, going to remove some of the accuracy, which means that the Pack 43 didn't actually take any damage in terms of health, just in terms of morale. Now Jagdpanzer, perfect counter to the M10 destroyers. Ju-87 is going to be coming in to try and pick up some of those kills. With all the 50 cows in the area, going to be forced to fall back. So now on this left side, Befehl Panther, or Panzer, coming up to support the Befehl Panther. This Panther's not going anywhere anytime soon though, as it does have tracks broken. It's kind of dodgy though, because it's like, its tracks broken in a really odd direction. No idea why it would be facing to the left side there. Very odd. Either way, Tomasu really working off Schmitty's position quite well here. He set up these AT guns alongside the IGs. It looks like this recon squad might end up killing the Flak 88 if it gets a bit too close though. This would be a good place to sort of attack with those Thunderbolts that the 101st player is using at the moment. Although there is a mobile wagon back here. A little bit of AA to deal with, and there's another one here on this right side. Anything that flies over this is just going to be completely dead. Ah, here we go. Finally, we're seeing the artillery. Double Sexton coming in. This would have been very welcome much sooner. Before the Fireflies died, before the motorized rifle push, for all of that, Sextons. Sextons are the way forwards. They open up so many damn opportunities. Get your recon to spot the enemy AT, and job done. Let's change it actually to Red One's point of view right now. He has a recon squad here. Because it's here, it actually doesn't have very good line of sight. Here, however, would have amazing line of sight. IG-18 going to be falling there of Tomasu's. Thunderbolts coming in to take out the Panther Gs. It looks like the Panther pack has rolled forwards and actually taken out both of the Jumbos already. Where did those Jumbos go? One of the Panthers did die. Oh, it looks like they come around this side. A lot of dead Shermans. Panthers always beat Jumbos. Bear that in mind, guys. Here comes Tomasu with more of his infantry, solidifying the other side. These Sextons firing away, becoming a real nuisance for Schmitty by the looks of things. But in this middle area, the Danish Viking definitely did a lot of damage with these Panthers and that push. Really nice to see. Ju-87 comes in, gets the M10 kill. However, P-47 Thunderbolt, feel like that's going to rocket and then shoot down the Ju-87 straight after. The Guerrilla, surviving that rocket strike. Looks like the AA just made that Thunderbolt inaccurate enough to not get the kill. Focke-Wulf 190 A8 now flying about. Double 25 pounder from the 1st Panzerner player. And that's quite nice. It does allow him to push forwards quite aggressively with these rifle squads. Pretty sure he didn't expect to jump into or bump into a flamethrower there. 25 pounders are pinning down these guys quite nicely. And that would allow more rifles to push through, but he's got a serious lack of them. There's only one rifle squad actually there. Good bunch of units though for a decent push, and there isn't really an AT gun in line of sight, other than the Pack 40, which might be able to shoot something should it come across, but that can't really help out there. Yeah, it looks like this is actually pretty vulnerable. So pushing so concentrated here is actually a really nice idea. Now since that Panzer Grenadier's gone down, these Assault Pioneers, they might be able to break through if they had the help of something a bit longer range, but at that range, Assault Pioneers have 1 HE. Not very helpful at all. Ju-88 is going to be coming in with its 14 7HE power bombs and absolutely carpeting the town. Also going to see that Ju-88 come in with the same and force back all of the M4s. We see multiple Thunderbolts coming in for their strikes. And well, they didn't really do the damage this time round. There's plenty of AA here from Yoda, and that's allowing him to keep his units alive. More units coming in on the right side. That Befell Panther is still sitting there, so anything that comes just that little bit too far is going to be picked off by the Panther. But this push is coming through quite strong. The only issue is there's only 8 minutes left on the clock. Now currently it's only a 51% territory lead for the Axis. It's actually just gone down to 50-50. The Axis are still going to win, just because they have more points at this point. So the Axis could definitely make a comeback, in my opinion. The Panther has just gone down here. Looks like these two M5 guns have been enough to pick off these Panthers. And that one hitting the side armor, going to do the job. So, yeah, Danish Viking losing 3 Panthers in the mid now. The artillery here from Thomasu just going to be that little bit too late to actually affect the M5 guns, although they were actually heading for the counter battery onto the M7 by the looks of things. Now this push coming through strong. Shermans, Cromwells, Fireflies going to be easily pushing through here. This Marder 3, that's going to die, surely. Yeah, that's gone. Now we want to see these rifles come in and start to reveal the position of all these Ersatztruppen, and that will allow the other supporting units to help clean up. Like if he gets the M3 scout car, the M5 half track and the Jeep on target, the first Panzerner player can actually push straight through. Like Typhoon coming over the anti-air. Oh, actually going to get shot down. I feel like a lot of these AA units are actually pretty low on ammunition. That's not causing them to be not as effective as they otherwise would be. Wolf 190 G1 wants to get its bombs off, but gets hit by a lot of 50 cals from the left side as well as the Bofors. And Yoda, I think since they've solidified the mid here, Yoda's able to focus again on the left side, and with his FK18 and like basically artillery infantry gameplay, he's able to actually do a lot of damage to the 101st player. Now, I was saying before how Delphius was doing really well with his aircraft, but he really suffers when it comes to dealing with mortars and so on. I feel like some M1 howitzers would be perfect for like countering these FK18s and the enemy mortars that he's been facing for like the majority of the game. He has been instead relying on Thunderbolts, which is fair enough, but now there's a lot of AA, you've got to kind of change tack. Just getting the extra +1 for the allies at this point is actually very important, and pushing for a +2 even more important, because I think that's what they need at the moment in order to secure a victory. Befell Panther going to be slamming this rifle squad. I feel sorry for them. That's Pack 40, Befell Panzer 4 and the Panther all hitting the rifle squad there. Humber Mark 3 takes the wrong turn as well. That actually was a Humber Mark 4. And back here, both the Sextons are going to be forced away by the Panzerwerfer. Pretty going for that little push now. Königstiger has arrived. Rolling up the tracks. Well, you can't let this push stop now. The first Panzerner player just needs to go straight through here as hard as he can. He's already killed off so many infantry squads. Not going to take him long to go that little bit further and maybe push for that +1. Thunderbolt's coming in again. Ju-87 is going to be forced to fall back, and so are the P-47 Thunderbolts. Really nice bombing strike coming in from there, from the Ju-88. Takes out the supply vehicle, takes out some infantry, leaves the airborne rifles on 1 health. Blackfilling plus the 7-2. Going to be crushing airborne rifles as they try and cross the open. Jagdpanzer at max range should easily deal with an M4, so this left side's kind of doomed. Like eventually Yoda's always going to win out in that scenario. Over here, however, Panther G, that has to take care of the M4A1 and the M4A3. Otherwise, the Danish Viking might have a bit of problem, but as long as this Panther G is alive, that's absolutely fine. Let's just go back to the Axis perspective. I would be very worried about this Firefly. However, what you probably could do is have this Pack 40, like attack move up this tree line. We are seeing a Befell Panther get up towards the spawn now. And that's a Firefly that's not firing back. Why was that not firing back? I think the red one just missed microing there. One of the sextons is dead as well. And with those sextons gone, that's just... so is the chance of coming back in this game. And I think that was gone a little while ago. And there we go. Red one surrendering. Just as I say that. Blimey. Right, FK-18 is going to be taking out that AT gun. I feel like the Allies, about 10 minutes ago, had a good chance of actually winning this game. But now, with the loss of tanks in the mid, after initially killing the Panthers, it's not going to work out for Fabio. And the left side is just doomed to fail with the 101st against the 17th SS. The 17th SS can just fight for days. They have so much availability. Like if this game went on, I would see a total Axis victory. Especially if, for example, Schmitty finally pushed up to the spawn here and then swept to the left. That would crush the Polish player's advance. The Polish player has done really well throughout this game, I feel. He managed to push through all the way here, then got pushed back by two players, and now has sort of created this ball of tanks. It's just doing so much work. The Marder 3 failing against the Firefly there. Stug 4, however, or Stug 3, sorry, gonna do the job at that range. I guess that's the main problem with Fireflies, is their lack of armor. And that does allow the 14 AP Stug, when engaging at max range, to actually penetrate. So I think there's no reason now to not push for this spawn. Like, yes, the AI has taken over, but there should be some recon here that just shows that there's just a bunch of stuff in that top right and nothing else. In general, that's just a lot of points in one area. How many Gepards is that? 7 Gepards. We had like 2 Flak 36s. It's a crazy amount of AA. But after 40 minutes, it's a minor victory for Schmitty's team. What a fantastic game. It was really nice to just watch the entire map and see how back and forth it was. Red 1, unfortunately, not really playing too well. Must have been quite sort of inexperienced. Yeah, only 4 multiplayer games with 4 defeats. If we look at Schmitty's profile, now playing 27 games. So a lot more experience than Red 1, unfortunately, and that definitely shows with the KD. However, Schmitty could have secured the enemy spawn a lot sooner. There was a lot of opportunities where after a failed attack from Red 1, Schmitty could have just counter-attacked and just won. Over on the left side, I think Yoda just did a great job at the start pushing out the 101st player. Unfortunately got pushed back due to having to double push on the 1st Panzerner player, who got 4,630 kills. I knew he did well, but 4,600 kills, that's very, very nice indeed for the 1st Panzerner. The 3rd Armoured back and forth in the mid as well, especially was doing so well until those 3 Panther Gs came in, pushed him all the way back, managed to kill them with a couple of M5 guns and then returned the favour. There was so many opportunities in that game for both sides to just win outright, but just the back and forth was actually really, really fun to watch. So thank you, Schmitty, for sending in the replay. It was really fun stuff. And in terms of the kills, let's have a look at these. Pumas picking up plenty. Very, very nice indeed. Panzer Grenadiers picking up a nice amount of kills as well. Panzerwerfer is killing off plenty of infantry. Back 38. Befell Panther took out the Firefly there. We see the Gepard shooting down a Hurricane as well. And that Befell Panther on the right side killing off 2 Fireflies and the Sexton. Some really nice kill counts. Not too many losses as well. Some of these Pumas, probably all of the Pumas actually, didn't even need to lose those. And, well, looks like the Königstiger died at the end as well. But that's where we're going to leave it. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.